We're talking about ADHD. In our last episode, we talked about attention surplus order, and today we're going to talk about hyperactive disorder or hyperactive order.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Learn to Speak Kid podcast. We are Bonnie and
Thomas Liotta.
And we help parents and educators transform the most defiant and disruptive child behavior without mind-altering medication, years of therapy that goes nowhere, or any type of harsh punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're going to piss a lot of people off because we're going to talk about ADHD and we're going to remove some excuses and alibis today from society, from the system. And I tell you what, if you're a thinker, if you're a mom and dad who knows in your soul something is off the mark here, there must be a better way, well, you're going to absolutely love this episode.
That's right.
So, Thomas, we're talking about hyperactive disorder. Now, you worked with thousands of kids in your award-winning after-school program, for those of you who are just meeting us right now, and you developed a reputation for please fix my hyperactive kid. And let's talk about that. What is hyperactive disorder and what do you mean by hyperactive order?
Yeah. Well, let's call it like pros and cons, positive or negative. You see, hyperactive, what if that is just a neutral? That just means that the kid's alive. They're doing something.
Yep.
Now, when you look at the hyperactive, that's normal. But what's attached to the end? Now, this is where we could go negative or positive, right? This is kind of like can or can't. It's a classic game of opposites. So let's start off with hyperactive disorder.
Okay.
Now, if it's a disorder, it always has, and you just listen to the dialogue. Every single parent that finds themselves in there, and you take them to a doctor that says, yep, they've got this, you hear these key syllables. Can't, don't, and won't. And what we're talking about is, what if the child would look for independence, to break free, be able to be prepared to launch out of the nest, and over here, and I understand all the games because it's usually stems from morals, ethics, safety, things that are justifiable, and we're telling them, can't do that right now.
Yeah.
You won't do that over, here or whatever it be. But that's the name of the game on the negative side.
Okay, well, I want to talk about this from a mom perspective who read, of course, all of the parenting books that were available when I was a young mother. But they were all focused on the same thing. We call it authoritative parenting. We might know it today as gentle, attached, conscious, peaceful. Call it whatever you want. It's based on authoritative parenting. And this is where we are taught as parents to redirect your toddler from the lamp cord or redirect your toddler from the burner. And this is just the starting place. And so what we're doing now is we're taking our 6 and 7-year-olds to doctors because they're hyperactive, but it begins all the way back at the age of 2. And even when we work with our clients and we help them make this transformation, even if the kid's 15, we take them back to the 2 to 4 life skills learning box first. But when we redirect a toddler, no, that's dangerous. No, let me protect you. Rather than teaching them about something, or like you said, the first word we're to teach our toddlers is the word no. No, you got to understand what the word no means. But when we do that, what you're saying, can't, don't, won't, and no, we're literally preventing this toddler from developing life skills, from developing what's called neural pathways. So by the time the kid gets to be 5, 6, 7, and we send them off to school and they're deemed hyperactive, and the doctor says, oh, they're missing neural pathways, I want to bring out right here that there's something called neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to develop and grow new neural pathways.
Correct.
So I don't know where we got the idea that babies are born like spiders with spiderweb making 101 abilities and they're just going out of their way to be defiant, and our job is to constantly correct their behavior in the moment and to discipline with something negative. But it's really setting our families, our parents up for a lifetime of parenting hell, our children up for a lifetime of there's something wrong with me, when you're going to bring some light to the subject right now, from unharnessed hyperactive energy to harnessed hyperactive order.
Absolutely. Could you imagine a computer called hardware had no ability to put software into it? That's
Right.
what neuroplasticity is. It's an upgrade on software.
Right.
Right?
Right.
The brain's the brain. Right? And so, hello. It's so crystal clear, but
It is.
It's so simple
Now.
to see and not to see. And most importantly, what if you've been taught not to even know it exists? And that's how every single family that comes from the I don't know world and comes over here is, where's this been my whole life? And the pattern's been the same again and again and again. So let's talk about hyperactive order.
Yes.
Right? So what's the opposite of can't? That's right. Can. Now, here's the cool part. You got 3 negatives and there's 3 positives. You see, there's a classic game called Monkey See, Monkey Do, and nobody ever did anything without mimicking. So when they actually do something, I can see how you're doing it in your own unique way. That's the classic example of validation, which is the hyperactive order. This is on the positive side. So this is what I did with thousands of kids. It works every single time.
Do share with us in layman's terms. Like, give me an exact example of what you're talking about here, because you're kind of talking a little abstract.
Excellent. Cookie jar.
We all know what a cookie jar is.
They pulled out the drawers, step, got on the counter, took the lid off, put their hand inside, took it, and shoved the cookie in her mouth. Now, you can't tell me that they just go, I know where the cookies are. No, they sat there, corner of their eye, and they watched you go over, lift it up, take a cookie out, and put the lid back on. That's monkey see, monkey do. And all they did was, did you see how I did it? And that's what's taught backwards in parenting. But when you can go, well, look at you. Who found the cookie in the cookie jar?
Instead
and you know
of, no,
what?
get down from there. You're not
Correct.
allowed to do that. Okay.
And more importantly, it's like, look how you got it out of the cookie jar all by yourself.
Validating.
Wow. Did you pull out you did. You brought the little thing and you got up there and you lifted the lid. Look how much self-control you have. And that's never taught in mainstream parenting ever.
I want you to actually pause here, because what's taught in mainstream parenting is we tell them no to the cookie jar. They have a meltdown or they cry because they see you do it. They don't understand why they're getting in trouble for doing exactly what you just did. So we say no, we break their little heart, and then we're taught to coddle or validate their emotions. And it kind of looks like this. It's okay to be upset, little Timmy, but you can't have a cookie right now because I need to maintain my boundary. It's said in a gentle and kind way with like maybe a firm tone, but it's wolf in sheep's clothing is what you're saying.
It goes back to the classic mess, morals, ethics, and safety.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on your side because you can't deny that's where it comes from.
So what you do and what I've seen you do with the most outrageously out of control kids is for 2 hours I watched you validate Jacoby. That's called off. That's called on. That's called spill. That's called this. You simply validated every action that these little geniuses took. And by the end of 2 hours, you had the meeting out of the palm of your hand. They were like, somebody sees me. Somebody's validating who I am. It might be okay to be me. And we've literally seen kids who are destined to a lifetime of medication and treatment centers totally turn their lives around like this, based on what we're talking about here right now.
Yeah, and just like a fire that's being deprived of oxygen, that's called a backdraft. As soon as you breathe life and you validate, oh my God, I was playing monkey see the whole time and you saw me, you saw how I did it. Of course they're not going to know when and where, and that's the other two that we're going to add to the hyperactive order. You see, but to validate how they did it, of course they're off the mark. If they knew what to do, They wouldn't be in the house. They'd have already left the house.
Right.
That brings us back to principle number 1 in the program, knowing your role as a parent. Now, here's number 2, right?
Yeah.
After you get past the how they do it, you validate. What they're really saying is, if you knew what you were doing, you would show me the when. You see, this is where can't, this is the don't. Where, like when do I do getting the cookie out? And that's the next life skill is like, well, when do we get the cookie out? Well, everybody, mom knows it intuitively. No, it's dinner time. You'll ruin your meal or your appetite.
Which is correct.
So it comes down to the classic part of when do I actually do the cookie? Because, why do we have cookies? They got to be done. So moms always know. They always ask before. So is it before, during, or after? Well, Captain Obvious is going to say, well, that's called dessert. Finish your plate, you get the cookie, right?
Yeah, right.
And so that's the best part is when we show them when it does. Well, can I have a cookie? You sure can. Do you remember when we have it? Blank. Is it before, during, or after? After. Look how smart you are.
So beautiful.
This is called hyperactive order.
So beautiful. So beautiful. And what I love too, Tom, is when you taught me like, well, do you want a half a cookie or a whole cookie or 2 cookies? Oh, let me pre-frame for you listening. You can have organic, whole food, homemade cookies. You cannot even ever use a cookie. We're just using the cookie as an example because every kid asks for treats, okay? But when you taught me, do you want half a cookie, a whole cookie, or 2 cookies? Like that was life-changing in itself, because when we say no to our kids, we unknowingly steal what's called dopamine, what's called a zest for life, because kids have no vision on how to make these things show up without you. When you offer the half, whole, or 2 cookie scenario and you show the child proactively exactly how to make half, a whole, or 2 cookies show up, this is the arsenal for all the parents of the world to gain cooperation and harmony. But we're taught to say no, which is like, we're literally being taught to create chaos in the home.
Absolutely.
Just
and it
so
works
disheartening.
every single time.
Yes, it does.
So here brings us to the third element we'll wrap up for today.
Okay.
And congratulations on all you moms and dads that made it through 1, 2, and 3. Because not only is this going to be a game changer, once you know it, you'll never go back. Mm-hmm. And so remember, it was how they did it, monkey see. When, there's some follow the leader. But then there's this part is where.
Yeah.
Where does the cookie get eaten at? Now, Mom, you know and I know, bed, probably not the number 1 or top 10. At the dinner table?
Yeah.
Inside the kitchen?
Right.
That's where. So remember that can't, don't, won't? The won't is opposite as will. Well, we will have the cookies. Where? I don't know. In the kitchen or on top of the roof? In the kitchen. You see, sometimes you just got to help them out with a little Captain Obvious or something that's totally stupid and really smart so they can have a win. Remember, they don't know these things. You do. And so when we can actually tie in, I saw how they did it. When can it happen? And where's the best place? You see, that's where hyperactive order comes into play. And the people out there that think this is weird, well, you probably are in the pop a pill business, or you're into any kind of thing that you think there's something wrong with the kid.
Yeah, they bought into the lies.
You won't like
system.
us.
Yeah.
So sucks to be you. And I'll tell you what, we're changing the world with this, because it's not only something that works every single place, no matter where you're at, what style, what creed, what language. When you can actually change that label from attention deficit to attention surplus. I see a little genius embracing her own uniqueness versus see, smell, taste, touch, hear something you don't like. And instead of talking this whole classic morals, ethics, and safety of can, don't, won't, short-term win, long-term loss, and you see how they mimicked, when they can do it, and where's the best place to do it when you're not around.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, where has this been my whole life?
That's what I said. That's what our clients say.
And so before we leave, Bonnie, is there anything that's from your heart when you first saw it the very first time that moms could actually go, wow?
Well, the very first time that I saw Creating Champions for Life was when you started treating the kids like they were little human beings. Somehow we've been led to believe that children are like some alien form from another planet that need to have all of these, I don't know, weird manipulative theories to try to control their behavior. I realized that control is a complete illusion.
Yep.
I learned that my role was to prepare my little genius offspring for the world. I realized that I was giving them way too much. Like, I literally had the thought that I could spoil my kids with material things because I wanted to work really hard to give my kids the life I always wanted. Ding, ding, ding. They didn't want the life that I always wanted. They wanted their own life.
Yes.
And when Kira was 14, and we had been doing the Creating Champions for Life for about 2.5 years already. But she was a teenager, and she's like, you know what, Mom? Like, I really appreciate and love you guys because you never tell me no. I don't always get what I want, but you at least show me the way to make the things that I want happen. I might not be willing to work for it, but she really appreciated that I wasn't trying to control her anymore. I had become her trusted advisor. And I want to say this, 14 years later, I'm still their trusted advisor. My kids are all now 21 to 27 years old, while other kids are leaving their families and never returning back, and the parents are left wondering why I did all this work for my kids. Why are they not talking to me anymore? And I have like the most loving, close relationships with my kids and my granddaughter, and life is just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I want to end with this last thought. I can guarantee you this. The kids today that are going to have kids, the kids are going to be done in a way that they're not even going to be able to kick their way out of a wet paper bag to save their life unless you, Mom, you, Dad, take the leap of faith and learn to speak kid to save them from a world that's been designed for the last 80 years to create dependency, which is the opposite of independence. And when you know that, this is the saving grace for all of our champion kids moving forward.
Yeah. You know, if you love this episode and you're like, where is this attention surplus episode that you did? Make sure to click over here and you can catch that right now. And until we meet again, here's to our parenting success.
Cheers, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Bye for now.